You're walking around your apartment, having a full debate with yourself, out loud, and suddenly your roommate looks at you like you need an intervention. Meanwhile, they're stumbling around in silence, can't find their keys, forgot what they were doing. You're talking through problems. They're wandering aimlessly. You think you're losing it. Science says you're actually operating at a higher level. What does talking to yourself really reveal about how your brain works? First, let's clear something up. Psychology says people who talk out loud to themselves when alone are often misunderstood. Not crazy, not mentally unstable, and definitely not losing their minds. In many cases, your brain works at a velocity that requires verbal output just to keep things organized. If you have a habit of muttering, debating, or whispering to yourself throughout the day, there are real psychological reasons behind it. Here's what's actually happening. You have a high-functioning cognitive system that demands clarity. If you talk to yourself, you probably aren't hallucinating conversations. You're materializing your thoughts. Research shows that vocalizing a thought makes it tangible, allowing you to examine it objectively. You'd rather hear the idea out loud than let it bounce around chaotically in your head. Most people's minds are full of fog and abstract feelings. Your brain seeks structure. You use your voice to give physical form to your ideas so you can analyze them, critique them, and improve them. You aren't struggling to think. You're thinking so deeply that silence isn't enough to contain it. Now here's where it gets interesting. Talking to yourself doesn't just help you think, it actually upgrades your processing speed. You use verbal cues to heighten your visual perception and focus. Research shows that saying the name of an object you're looking for actually activates the visual cortex in your brain. Psychology calls this stimulus upregulation. When you say phone or keys out loud, your brain visualizes the item faster and filters out distractions. While others wander around aimlessly, you're programming your brain like a search engine. You talk to yourself because you're hyper-focused on efficiency. You aren't losing it, you're executing a task with higher precision than the average person. But here's something even more powerful. Many people who talk to themselves do so in the second or third person. You might say, "Come on, you can do this," or "Why did you do that?" Research shows this is called distanced self-talk, and it signals a high level of emotional intelligence. By talking to yourself as if you were another person, you create psychological distance from your stress. You don't spiral into anxiety, you coach yourself out of it. You're your own therapist, your own motivator, and your own critic. This allows you to stay cool under pressure when others would panic. You don't need someone else to calm you down because you've already mastered the art of soothing your own nervous system. Next, let's talk about memory. People who talk to themselves often have a sticky memory for things that matter. Research shows that reading or speaking information aloud triggers what psychologists call the production effect. The act of speaking creates a distinct memory trace in the brain that thinking silently does not. You aren't just repeating things for no reason, you're saving the file. Your brain knows that by speaking it, you're marking that information as important. You process life deeply, and you refuse to let important details slip away. Think about it this way. When you're studying for an exam or trying to remember an address, saying it out loud makes it stick. When you're working through a problem, hearing yourself explain it helps you understand it better. Your voice isn't noise. It's a tool your brain uses to organize, focus, remember, and regulate. Here's the bottom line. If you catch yourself talking out loud, it doesn't mean you're weird. It means your mind is a high-performance engine that needs an exhaust pipe. You have superior focus, better emotional regulation, and a stronger memory. You aren't crazy, you're just operating on a higher level. So the next time someone gives you that look, just remember, They're the ones struggling in silence. You're the one getting things done.